All right, guys, here's another project. This is called a Tucker. It's a Tuckerbuilt. It's a concrete hopper with an auger, and basically it goes out. It's full of wet concrete. It goes out to these concrete plants, and it pours the concrete in those open forms, like for bridge beams. And so anyway, I gotta replace this auger section here. This section right in here. If you look real closely, this line, that line there, should be straight with this line here, but it's not. It dips down this way. There've been several cracks that have broken right in here over the years, and they just keep fixing it. But it's supposed to be as straight as this line right here, and you can tell it just nosedives pretty good. So that's quite a challenge, because the intersection point is in here between this channel and that box. So we're gonna have to come in here, chip all that concrete out, and break this thing loose from all of its supports all over this crazy thing. So this is a busy one. This side here is the more challenging part, because it's attached to the cab, the driver's cab, and being that it was that it had sagged down so many times, they put patches and pieces and whatever else just to make it work. Plus this here, it's not straight, so it was rubbing against the one side of the wall. So today is going to be a lot of cutting day. Cut all this bad out, and then we'll see what we can start with fresh, with new. Customer did buy new channels. These come from the factory at a specific length, so that'll be easy enough. But now we'll fabricate most of it on the ground. That way we know that it's a straight section, parallel and square, and so then as we install it, it'll go in straight. Then we'll just make the needed adjustments behind this opening here. They did say that I could remove this panel to access the inside of that channel to weld it up, but this is quite a job, so we're in for it. So hang tight. We're gonna get some chipping done, concrete chipping, and we'll start cutting. All right. Alright, so we're at the point of cutting this free. We got this concrete cleaned up in here. That's good. So now we're going to try and cut this in sections. And I'll cut the front piece first, and then I'll cut this piece here last. And we'll start trimming it and figure out what's going on or what we need to do. I don't know exactly how we're going to get around that cab, but we'll do it. So here we go. Okay, so we're at a bit of a standstill. This is a little too greasy, a little too dirty to continue on. I'm just worried it's going to catch fire. So we're going to have them wash it up. We've held up this cab, because as soon as we let go or cut this channel out of here, that cab's going to fall. So that's not good. And there's nothing else holding it up. So that's just kind of a pain. Got to cut it free from all this junk back here. Of course, nothing easy, but if it was easy, it'd be called fun, not work. So I think we're at a good point to stop for just a second to have them wash it up and clean it up to keep from creating any fires. Don't want to burn this machine down, although that'd probably be the best thing for it. So little pause. All right, so we got it cleaned up a little bit. A little bit is better than nothing. So I'm having difficulties with the plasma cutter. It's right on its higher end of capacity, so it doesn't want to really cut through this. And maybe it just needs a new tips. I'll find out tomorrow. But for the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a section of this window. I'm going to cut out a window this here, and that'll give me more access to kind of see what's in there. And then I can start trimming this piece here. This angle iron here is not supposed to be here. This piece is supposed to be higher, and it's supposed to touch. Everything about this has been scabbed and repaired over the years, and now it's time to redo it. So that's at the point we're at now. These side guides boxes or whatever they're called, those guys are going to come off because I can't access the transition point from that piece to the channel. So I'll have to gouge that up there and get those off as well. It's you know, you're chewing away all the bad until you can see what you need to put on new. And so, you know, you just don't want to cut off too much and then end up in a bind. One of the things that I am concerned with, though, as I mentioned earlier, is that this cab is just hanging from the top down. So we may put some support here to hold it up a little bit so it doesn't fall. It won't fall, but so it doesn't sag or move anymore. So let me cut that window out with a torch and see what I need to get done. I know this area here has got a lot of concrete buildup in it, so I'll hit it with a hammer a couple times and try and break it loose, at least off of the skin, on the inside of the skin, and that way I can cut through some of that. But a lot of the wet grease and wet oil is off already, which will, you know, make it a little easier to start cutting and without too much worry of fire. It's got a leak there, but it's better than it was. All right, let's keep windows out of this thing so we can see what we're doing. And, you know, good thing, a lot of concrete in there, it's tough to cut out, but that's all right. At least we'll be able to chip that out now. This is a division area from where that box starts, so that's good. We got it figured out where it was. Now we just need to continue on and chipping away at some of this mess. But looking good. You know, cut this angle iron a little bit more, keep chewing, and we will get it. So let's keep on keeping on. All right. Okay, so this is end of day one, and we're gonna leave it here. Chop that up a little bit, best I could. Lens dirty. Oh man, I got a spark on it. Oh well. Okay, so this is where we're at. Tomorrow we're gonna cut these boxes off. They're kind of a guide to make sure it comes back down and where it's supposed to, but they're holding the end of the channel, so I gotta cut that off. Gonna break it free from here, undo this angle iron bracket that they put here. Turns out this cab sagged down. This line is actually pretty good, but the cab sagged. This line was broken, that's why it sagged that way. It was just all out of whack. So I'm glad we're doing it new. Of course, it'll be the nicest thing on this whole unit, but it will make it last, the auger last now, won't rub the sidewalls. And now they can take care of that leak. So we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna pick up in the morning, so we'll catch you guys in a minute. Okay, as the saying goes, you gotta break a few eggs to make a cake. Well, it's looking pretty ugly. But I had to remove all this. I'm still in the process of getting this done so that the channel that goes in this place can sit flat against that. So this is not a thing I can avoid or go around. I have to do it. And so the next step would be to get these guides, or these box guides, I guess. I don't know what they're called. But I gotta get them off. So I don't want to bore you anymore with any of this stuff. So let me finish this up off camera, and then I'll get with you as we're starting that side. All right. So after a lot of cutting, that is ugly. Looks like they had already done this before. They cut out some big holes. Also, this cab has sagged a little bit, and you can kind of tell because you see this line here. It's supposed to go along with the top of this, and if you look back this way, this part is down quite a bit, maybe about 1.25 inches or so. So the next step is to cut that out, and I'm really undecided on cutting that out because I have to cut these boxes off, and these boxes are a major part of that structure. So unfortunately I already cut out a big window on that side, but not on this side. So what I actually may end up doing, I'm gonna run it by the guys, or the boss man. This piece is still straight. I may do it, cut it here on this front side of that door hinge, because all of this is a structural piece out of a 3/8 plate as part of this whole box section, and so I can't really cut them off individually. I'd have to cut the whole unit off as a whole. So that is a tremendous amount of work that I think we can get away with splicing here. They did say I can cut an opening on this side from the outside so that I could weld in here. So if that's the case, well, then we can do it that way. Now the problem with me cutting that open already is that I'll have to put a patch, but being is that I can put a patch, then I can weld it from the opposite side as well, so then it'll be 100% welded, and no worries there. I have to straighten it out, right? And so what we can do is just subtract the amount of inches from here to there so that the bolt holes all match up properly, and then that we will be in good shape. And then this will create, or have, its strength still instead of breaking here like it was before. So I'm going to run that by them, That way I can just cut around here, measure back, you know, 4 or 5 inches, slide that piece in as a unit, as a whole. So I think we're gonna shoot for that. There's gonna be a lot of grinding on this. I don't want to bore you with grinding, because grinding is just grinding. Everybody does it. And this here, I might stick you up there somewhere. And it's a magnet. The camera's on the magnet. I might stick you up there somewhere and see how I cut that out, and this one out. All right, let's keep trucking. Okay, so we've got done cutting them, and now it's just a matter of cleaning them up. It's about as good as I could get with a plasma cutter, so it's looking all right. Now it's the grinder's turn. There he is. And then once I put this piece back in here, then I'll measure out this opening for me, and that way I get it exactly right, and that way I can weld from the other side. So things are looking good, so let's keep going. Okay, so after a lot of fast forwarding, or either fast forwarding or really fast working, maybe I work fast, but not really. So we got this all tacked up together to the right width and length. We trimmed it up so that we could fit it in here. We're at a position now where we can install this guy. I'm gonna butt it up in there. And I mentioned before, once I tack that in place, I'll be making a patch panel for that because I shouldn't have cut that. And over here, it should butt up into that. And so we're looking good. This whole unit is so wore out that it is twisted out of shape. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it back down on its original stand so that we at least know, have a zero mark or reference, zero reference. And that way we can install it straight. I put a piece of board out there to push this cab over that way because the only thing that is holding it is this and this. So yeah, we needed it away so that I can install that channel right in this area. So next step is to remove that cribbing, set it down, remove this stand, and start installing this guy right in this area and see if we did it right and if the measurement comes out good. So it may take a couple tries, but it may not. It may actually work. So let's see how it goes. Let's get this thing moved. I need to use both hands. Okay, so what we're having problems with is I cut this too too close to right on the money, and things flexed and moved, and so now this doesn't fit in the opening. So what we're gonna do to compensate for that, we're just gonna cut this ear off. Cut that ear off, and then I'll weld another ear on top of it when we go to assembling it. Just trying to fit it exactly right around this perimeter. You know, I cut it to where it, like you can see the factory edges, which is nice. However, things warp, and you know, with age and cracks and things, it don't fit anymore. So we'll do that just to make it easier, because instead of trying to wrestle it and trim it and fit it, trim it and fit it, we'll just cut it off. Be a little faster. All right, let me get that done off camera, and then we'll start stabbing this thing again. Okay, we sort of stabbed it in there. It's looking all right. Things looks to be matching up. We're having difficulties ensuring that it's straight. Eyeballing it is close. What we're gonna do is run a string line underneath here, and hopefully it's pretty straight. But other than that, it looks pretty good. This piece is tilting this way, but the whole machine is tilting, so it's kind of hard to say what is straight. But at least it's at its zero mark, like I mentioned earlier. At zero reference to say. And we were able to push this cab away, which is good. We'll have to pick it up with the crane or with a jack or something. Maybe. So things are looking good. I should be tacking it up here in a little bit. I just want to make extra sure that it's straight, because once we tack it, then it's on. So we're gonna do that. All right. Alrighty, things are looking good. We've got this thing mounted up. Next thing is to attach these braces onto there. So we'll be cutting this, putting a piece there, cutting, maybe reinstalling this guy in here and the piece is missing. Reinstalling that, adding additional support, but everything's looking good. Gonna be cutting a hole out here so I can access the inside of this weld here, where this joins up in there. And that's fine, because this box is definitely strong enough to hold it up. So once I cut that out, I'll be able to access the inside. Just put it back on, put a little perimeter weld, no big critical thing. Got the boy here. Oops, almost tripped. Getting some parts ready, but should be looking good. We're almost done with this crazy thing, and it's looking really nice. So next step is to, you know, just attach where it needs to be attached for strength. For the cab to attach to that, a little bridge over right there. So we're almost done. We're not going to complete this unit, because they will put on all these lower pieces, which are there on a pallet right in there. They will do that. They will put this front end. They just wanted us to do the hard part, which is to put this, which is all right. That's what we get paid for. So we'll keep trucking. looks like we got that in there. So now it's just a matter of cleaning this up and putting it on the cover. All right. Well, that's done. That part is done. I'm not going to complain about that for my seating arrangements weren't the best. So this will definitely do. Now I saved the hard part for last, which is dumb. I should have done the hard part first. I'm going to put this piece in there. Boop. So that's going to be fun. Alrighty guys, well after all that wrestling, we got done. It's a crazy amount of work. I got those welded in. Easy to see with a camera. Got those patches covered up. Got these pieces welded up in there. Hardest part was the other one on this other side. They'll be putting the rest of this together. They just wanted us to do the arms. The rest of those things just bolt on, so that's pretty simple for them, which is good for me because I'm tired. That's 4 days. Anyway, there's that. All right, we're wrapping up. We'll catch you guys later. Thanks for your support. I'll see you guys later.